Okay guys, so here is the full jacket that I'm starting with. Picked this up at the local Goodwill. Yeah, you can see it's pretty big, typical 90s. I like it, but I do not like the length. So yeah, I don't know, it was just like kind of big. I wish it was a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, but look at how, just look at how floppy it is. I don't know, I just couldn't with its length. So, I don't know. I wanted to do something that would be like kind of cute and still kind of keep this classic 90s look. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure out what exactly I want to do with it, but I'm thinking that okay, so these are the shorts that I'm wearing it with, and I want to have it land like right about there. So I'm thinking I'll crop it like really short. And yeah, you see, like I want to be able to see the full bike shorts, and yes, they still have the tag on them. I got them from Aerie, but yeah, I don't like it hitting there, and I don't even really like it hitting there. I want to be able to see the full short, especially because I'm clearly pretty curvy, and yeah, I don't know, I just need like the most flattering length, and I found that crops really work well for my body. I would like to keep this feature, the little drawstring thing that 90s and 2000s used to have. I just think it's really cute, so I'd like to keep that. And also I'd really like to keep these pockets. I don't know why, I just really love pockets on jackets, so I'd like to try to keep that too. So we'll see what I can do with that. So first off, I'm making my jacket. So as you can see, it's originally really long, which was okay. And if it was a little bit longer, I feel like I would have used it that length and kept it like pretty long, because that's like an okay style if it went, I don't know, like to my thigh or something, if it was like really oversized, but it wasn't. It kind of like hit me like halfway down the hips, which was just kind of like a weird length. And I wanted to get it for this outfit in particular that I got from Aerie, this two-piece set. So it didn't really work with that, and it didn't really look the part that I wanted it to. So I knew I wanted to crop it, and I wasn't really sure how, because I wanted to keep the pockets intact. So that was my main goal, which is why I cut out the entire panel here. And yeah, I decided to shift that up, so you'll see me attempt that now. Okay guys, so what I'm doing here is basically the worst idea ever, and that was seam ripping the entire front panel out. That way I could move it up and move that pocket and the adjustable strap up to where they need to be for a crop top while still keeping the functionality of the jacket. And yeah, so this whole seam stitching thing did not need to be done, and basically what I ended up doing on the other side and what I should have done on this side was just cut it with a pair of scissors. So save yourself some time and do that if you're attempting something like I'm doing here. So I'm going to measure the shape out, and then I'm going to essentially cut off most of the sleeve. Bring up the back panel and bring this up and reattach it when it's probably going to be like here to the sleeve on both the front and the back. So guys, what I basically ended up doing here was I was just trying to recreate the measurements and the shape of the top part of the panel and just bring that down lower. That way I could remove all the excess material in order to make a functioning crop. And yeah, so I just brought that down from one corner and then down farther. You can see it's kind of crooked. I ended up redoing it a couple of times, but just essentially try to get that top shape and move it down lower. You could, if you wanted to take the time, basically use like a piece of cardboard to create more of a template. But yeah, you can see I'm just kind of like free-doing it, or freehanding it. Yeah, but it doesn't really matter. Essentially on the other side, I just kind of winged it, and it worked just as well. Okay, so it's been a little bit, and now I am resuming the project. Okay guys, so we're recreating this panel, but down here, so that is going to move upwards into there, into the spot where the original one. And basically because I used that seam ripper, I need to go back through and cut the bottom layer, which could have all been avoided if I had just cut it the first time. So yeah, this was much easier on the second half of the front. which I end up doing later in about 2 seconds. This took about a half an hour, so no bueno. Okay, so now I'm going ahead and actually making my first cut into making this a crop jacket. So I'm going ahead and making that shape the same as it is on the top, and I'm basically, for right now, I'm just kind of like cutting this off, and I'm going to go back through and trim up the sides to where it needs to attach to the sleeve. But yeah, that doesn't really matter right now. I'm just kind of trying to get this material out of my way. Okay, so I'm basically just gonna try to tackle the other side now, and let's see what that looks like. Okay guys, so right now I'm just going through and pinning that entire front panel to where it will be when I am done. And I know I'm pinning this really weird because I'm not sewing it right now, I'm just trying to align it because the back is still long and I'm not cutting that quite yet, so I just want to make sure everything aligns to the length that I wanted it. And also because I cut this new half with the scissors, I just want to make sure everything's lined up because for some odd reason, everything's just very confusing when you're trying to make a cut, especially because of this whole inside fabric is not sewn to the outside, so I'm just getting very confused. Okay, so I'm basically just sewing straight down the length here, and yeah, you can see my sides are pretty jagged, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just sewing straight down, so that's it. So this is the result, and the stitching that I did is down there, but the seam from the top is actually up a little higher, so I need to go back through and pinch that, as well as cover this hole, because yeah, there's actually a hole there. I just kind of missed part of the fabric. Other than that, I think it looks pretty good, and the side looks good. And yeah, I used black thread, but it's not visible at all. So I'm just going to go back through and fix this now. I just finished the front. So this is all brought up, and this is the full length now. It's looking pretty good. I'm just going to go through and do the back. The sleeves end right here, but I think I want them to end here because I decided to make it shorter, so I might just put like a dart on the inside there on the bottom of the sleeve, like in this wing area. And then for the back, since it needs to end basically a lot sooner than it already is right now, I'm just gonna cut out like a strip and essentially give it like a tummy tuck. And there's gonna be a line there, but I just don't really care. It's better than shifting this whole thing up like I did for the front. Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do now. This is my line in the back. So it just looks like this. It doesn't look like too crazy or anything. It just, that's the bottom right there. But Sarah, what should I do with all this extra fabric that I have left over? Okay, so I'm about to show you a little extra bit that I wanted to do with the excess material, especially because this is such a 90s outfit. I had a pretty cool idea. So we're just gonna measure our fabric. I'm probably just gonna use majority of what's here just because I do have a lot. I'm gonna cut off the edges, but yeah, it's like 26 inches. And I'm gonna make a scrunchie out of it, but usually you would do like maybe 18, 20 around here. But I'm just gonna use the whole 26, and it's just gonna be extra scrunchy. And usually you need like 4 or 5, but like I said, I'm just gonna do a lot. I'm gonna square it off, so it's really not gonna be this big. I'm definitely gonna cut off the ends. But yeah, I'm just gonna make it kind of flat, so it's a little bit more organized. Okay, so there's my completed fabric, and it now fits on the table, so I know I took a little bit off. The final measurements are 25, 26, okay, no, 26 even long and about 7.5 width. So that's definitely more than you would really need. But yeah, I encourage you, if you're gonna do a project like this, just kind of work with what you have. And then obviously you can always, if it seems a little ridiculous, you can definitely change it up a little bit. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we have our hair tie looped in this fold-in hot dog style here. And if you had a certain material that you would want the interior, the side you don't want facing, on the outside, that way you won't see your stitch. So you're basically just gonna line this up, and then you're slowly gonna manipulate the material. That way it's always lined up, which is kind of hard to do, hence the scrunchiness. Okay, so I just finished sewing that all around. And now what you're going to do is turn the entire thing inside out. And this should actually be somewhat easier since my scrunchie is extremely wide. It basically looks like an umbrella holder. Or I have like a little bag that you can put inside of another bag. And it's this same material and the same size, so it's nothing. So that took like 2 seconds, clearly. And then you're just gonna tuck one end into the other end. So that's hidden. And then I'm also gonna like kind of just tuck this in on itself, so there's just no exposed raw side. And then you're going to push the fringe away, the scrunchiness, and hold this just like that, and run one solid trail down the seam where those two meet. Okay, so that's what it looks like, and then you're basically just going to scrunch it over that, so you would never see it. Just give it a little addition, and there you have your matching scrunchie for the hair. Good job. Yeah, I'm proud. That was my first attempt. I think maybe if I didn't make this so wide, it wouldn't be so obnoxious, but for all intents and purposes of this jacket, obnoxious is exactly what I was looking for. Okay, so I'm sitting here in my completed set, and I would say it went more or less pretty well. I did have quite a few hiccups, but yeah, the jacket is just a lot shorter than I intended, and these pockets, but obviously you can still put things in them, they're just really high up. Maybe trendy, I don't know. And the scrunchie, I would say, is pretty cute. Okay, so I actually did this jacket flip in 2 different sittings because I literally couldn't take it anymore, and I don't know, I just needed to like get out of the situation. Basically what I ended up doing was I shifted the 2 side front panels up to that way I could keep this bottom piece intact, which kind of like, I don't know, it's not really like, I didn't need to adjust it, but I like the look of it just having it there because it kind of keeps the whole 90s aesthetic thing intact. Whoop, whoop. And I also really wanted to keep these pockets just because it was like, it's a functional piece in the original look, so I wanted to keep that there just because, like, why would I not want pockets? But yeah, they're kind of weird, but I could definitely still keep things in it. I don't know if I put my phone there because that's kind of like odd. I'll probably just keep it in the waistband of these shorts or hold it, I don't know, or if I have a bag. But yeah, and then for the back, I had a bit of a challenge. So basically, I just moved I like pinched it. So I sewed on the front panels first, and then I pinched all the excess when the coat was inside out, and I basically just sewed a line through that and then cut off the fold. That way there is a little sew line there, but that way I didn't have to take out the entire paneling because that seemed very problematic on the front half. I wouldn't say I would never do it again, but it just seemed like a bit of a task to do everything. And yeah, I don't know, it worked pretty well on the back, I would say, but there was definitely a bit of a situation with the armpit. So I can show you exactly what that looked like during the transition to a crop. But basically the material is just like really gathered here, and it doesn't look seemingly normal. It doesn't sit flat, and there's like a weird fold here because I ended up taking in part of the arm with the little dart. So it goes from like baggy to like even more baggy. So that's kind of weird. I would just say make the armhole longer. I thought I was going to end up like running out of room if I did that, but I definitely could have cut down longer and just left them like some bird wings like I had before. So yeah, other than that, I think this was fully functioning. Oh yeah, one thing I didn't do was basically the way this neck thing is done is it's sandwiched between these two things, and I could have done it that way, but I just didn't, and I kind of like forgot about it, which is why I seam ripped it in the first place. So I definitely should have done that. But you can definitely see the like raw edge here, but I don't think it's really that noticeable. If you were just wearing it, no one would really notice. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And yes, the scrunchie was a success as well. Definitely keeping up the 90s vibe with the windbreaker. So yeah, here's the completed look. Tigger, say hi everyone. Tigger's a Tigger. Hi, Mr. Tigger. Hello. Tigger. 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 There's Tigger's love of his life. Look at them. Watch, they do this with their tails. Oh.